Hi everybody and Happy New Year. Nick here, and I got a review for you today of a surprisingly beautiful knife. That's the Chris Reeves Damascus steel Mnandi in Cocobolo wood. And it's kind of a gem. I've had some up and down with Chris Reeve knives in the past. I've held some that are very nice. Got a Shabazz in Singo and really didn't care for it. I got another video about that if you're curious. But basically, I got a trade offer that I just couldn't turn down. It was really, really nice, and that was for this little guy. So this is a Mnandi in Damascus steel, and I absolutely love it, and I want to tell you why today. When I got it, it came with a box, came with a little Reeve towel, and came with this little pouch, which I want to give a shout out to the pouch, because these are a beautiful thing. I had one on my Northwoods Michigan Jack, and got one here, and this is so if you want to carry the knife loose in your pocket, your knife's not going to scratch up your phone, and vice versa. Just a smart little idea. Cheap, but works well. There you go. But really, what makes this knife is the freaking blade. This Damascus steel is beautiful. So this is actually pattern welded. It's actual Damascus. If you run your finger across it, you can hear the pattern. And you can feel it, and it's just nice. And in fact, if you look at the spine, I hope you'll be able to see this. There is actually, grooves running across the spine. So you can really see the quality of this pattern welding Damascus here. Steel still took a beautiful edge on the Edge Pro. Came dull as a butter knife, but a little bit of time, and it's got a nice sharp mirror edge on it. Cuts like a dream. Haven't tested edge retention because it's a freaking gentleman's folder. Come on, people. But that's just nice. And the wood, this Cocobolo's nice. The scales are titanium, which are nice. So the whole thing's very, very lightweight. And, the quality is just there. This is a really nicely put together, damn near perfect little knife. Very impressed by that. Good things. Size. This is meant to be a gentleman's folder, which just means that it's not going to be huge and it's not going to be scary or intimidating. So, here's your Dragonfly at the bottom, your Mnandi, your Delica, and my token huge knife, the Grimsmo Norseman. As you can see, this is a very small knife, and this is a knife that's small enough that it's not really concerning if you take it out in public at some kind of a meeting or something like that. It's a great envelope knife. It's a great pocket of your suit kind of knife. You've got a knife, but everyone looks at it as a fashion accessory, which in effect it kind of is. This is man jewelry. Let's just freaking face it, okay? But the size is really, really nice. It's big enough that you can still manipulate everything one-handed, which is good, and it fits nicely in the hand, or at least in my hand. Your fingers wrap here, your thumb goes onto this nice bit of jimping here, and so you can do cutting with it. But again, this isn't meant for batoning. If you are out there trying to use this as a survival knife, you're an idiot. But that's okay. Lots of idiots out there in the world. Very nicely pointed. And another beautiful thing about this knife is how simple it is. When I got it, I took it apart, as I tend to do with knives. And it's actually very nicely put together. There are only two screws on it. There's this screw, which lets you change the pocket clip side and disassemble that half. And then there's this screw, which acts as your blade pivot and also holds your scales together. You can see there's nothing between the scales. So there's a little tiny bit of flex, but not enough to make it feel cheap or anything. And it puts together just beautifully. The bushing is such that if you tighten it down fully, it works pretty smoothly. The detent is nice, locks up very nicely, a little past 50% here. And just, it's very, very nicely put together. It's minimally done, it's not too overcomplicated, and I'm really, really impressed. If this is what people are talking about with Chris Reeve knives, I finally get it. There are only a couple of downsides to this little guy, and, first off is the fact that because there's a Damascus blade, there's grittiness as the detent ball rolls over parts of the Damascus. So here, listen to this. You can actually feel, as you're closing the knife, it popping over various layers of that Raindrop Damascus. If that's my biggest problem in the world, I'm doing really, really nicely. That's not a huge deal. It cuts down on some of the smoothness, but it also isn't that bad feeling at all. It kind of gives it a nice, a certain something. And if that's the price I pay for having this gorgeous blade, I got no complaints at all. And But, that's something they could have maybe fixed. You can see, if you take it apart, there's part of the pivot that hasn't been etched for the Damascus, and I think that just didn't go quite far enough. Whatever. That's really the only nitpick I have about it. The pocket clip is a little tight, but again, this isn't a knife you're going to use with the pocket clip a lot. But overall, and the pocket clip is fully removable, by the way, if you don't want that at all. But overall, this is a really nice little knife, and it's a great little gentleman's folder. And it's filling the niche in my life that the Northwoods Michigan Jack used to. In fact, here, I'll do a comparison. Here's the Michigan Jack. Here's the Mnandi. Okay, that's disingenuous, but as you can see, when I got this guy, I sold the Michigan Jack, and it's heading off to its new owner as soon as a post office opens up. But that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on here. These serve a very similar purpose as your classy old slip joint, except this is a slightly more modern take. It can be worked with one hand, which I do like a lot. It does have a clip, but it's not a big enough clip to cause problems just putting it in your pocket. It can fit nicely in a slip case, and it's very, very lightweight. I really, really like this as a gentleman's folder, as a suit kind of knife, if you're going to carry a knife in a suit. It's not meant for stabbing, but none of my knives are. It's just meant for having something with you to cut something open, and for the symbolism, which is always important to me, of cutting away the BS in the world. That's why I carry. And envelopes. But, yeah. So, anyways, this is just an absolute freaking gem. The Mnandis in Damascus are going for like $5.50 now. I'm told this is an old style one where it was easier to open with one hand. Some of the newer ones don't make that as easy. I don't know that. But if you have a chance to pick one of these up, particularly with this gorgeous Damascus, I really recommend it. I got no bad things to say about this knife, and this one's a keeper. And the fact that it so quickly dethroned my previous gentleman's folder, the Michigan Jack over there, that means a lot. So, Chris Reeve Mnandi, really, really like it, and this must be what the Chris Reeve nuts are talking about when they love this brand so damn much. Anyways, have a happy 2016, and nice to talk to you guys, and have a great day.